Good morning. Thank you for joining me in this morning mindfulness practice. Let's take a deep breath in and out. Let's get settled in, turn off all distractions, and just give yourself permission to relax, to get tapped into spirit, universal mind, your higher self. I always find that I can accomplish more later if I take some time for myself to get settled, to get focused on what I want. And I'm not talking about physical things or material things, but how do you want to feel? What would you love to bring into your reality? It takes setting aside your reasoning mind and allowing yourself to tap into the energy that creates worlds. When we get into that other realm, on that other plane, on a different level of vibrational energy, you start to tap into your real self. And that means the difference between freedom and the compulsions of conformity. Dr. Maxwell Maltz wrote a book called Psycho-Cybernetics, and I think he wrote it in the 1960s, and he said the most important psychological discovery of this century is the discovery of the self-image. Whether we realize it or not, each of us carries about a mental blueprint or a picture of ourselves. You might not be consciously aware of it. You might not think about it. You might not have any conscious realization, but deep down, there is a self-image, your own conception of the sort of person I am. And that's interesting. I am. That's the kind of person I am. When you say I am, whatever you say after that, whatever you believe yourself to be, is what you've been programmed to be and how you're living your life. How many times in a day can you catch yourself saying, I am so sick and tired of this? Well, you've been programming your mind to be sick, to feel tired. You know, we've got this infinite energy that is flowing to and through us, and we make it what it is. And this beautiful divine energy is flowing into us. And instead of deciding what we really want, what we want to go after, what our purpose is in life, what we'd love to bring into our reality, we say, oh, I don't have any energy. I don't know how to do that. I am so sick and tired of everybody around me getting what they want, but I can't. You can even hear in my voice a change in, you can feel lethargic and grinding it out and pushing to exhaustion. Or you could start telling yourself a different story. Start to change the self-concept that you have that's been programmed into you by people who love and care about you, but don't really understand that there is infinite energy and you have infinite potential. Each one of us can tap into that infinite potential and change the way we think, change the way we feel, change the actions that we take, our behavior, change that inner self talk, and become what we really want to be. Have the things that we always dreamed of, but instead of saying, oh, I'd love to have that, but I can't because, what if we just think, I would love to have that, and write it down and pretend we're there and start thinking about ways that it could happen instead of the usual automatic, I can't because, whatever your reasons, whatever the because is, that's the brick wall that you've created for yourself, why you believe it can't happen. We think in pictures and we have a picture of ourselves, and whatever goes into that picture, it becomes true for us because that's our personal concern. That's what we're focused on. That's what we've told ourselves, and we've heard other people talk about us. Um, oh, you can't do that because you're too little. Well, now you're too old. You don't know how, so you better just give up because look at all these other people getting wonderful results, but I don't know how they did it. They must be lucky. So we make up all these stories in our head, and then because they're our thoughts, we think they're true. And then we are that sort of person, and we can't change our results. Well, I'm here to tell you you can change it because energy is always flowing. It's flowing to each and every one of us. It's flowing into my mind and giving me ideas. It's flowing into your mind and giving you ideas. But before you reject the ideas as too big, too bold, not for you, what if you just pretended that it was possible? Everything that you want is possible. It's on the other side of your self-doubt, the self-concept that you have about what is possible. And what if we decided to alter that picture a little bit, shift what we think, change our self-image, our self-concept? The self-image is the key to start to live a better life. Maxwell Maltz said, all your actions, feelings, behaviors, even your abilities are always consistent with the self-image. In short, you will act like the sort of person you conceive yourself to be. Not only this, but you literally cannot act otherwise in spite of all your conscious efforts or willpower. If you conceive yourself to be a failure, no matter how hard you try, you will find the way to fail in spite of all your good intentions, in spite of your willpower, in spite of how hard you try, even if opportunity is literally dumped in your lap. A person who conceives himself to be a victim of injustice or who is meant to suffer will invariably find circumstances to verify his opinions. You have a reticular activating system in your brain that looks for the evidence to prove what you think is true. Focus on something, and the reticular activating system in your brain will show it to you. If you think, oh, I'd love to have a new vehicle. I love red. I want a red truck. Well, pretty soon, the reticular activating system in your brain shows you all the red trucks. You're driving down the street. Oh, you didn't realize how many red trucks there are in the city. Maybe before you used to be aware of how many little Volkswagen Beetles there are running around, or how many Ford Explorers, or how many Chevs. But now all you see is red trucks everywhere. It's what you notice. If you decided that you really want something, you're going to start to focus on it. You're going to start to live and breathe for this dream goal. And notice, first of all, your self-image is going to tell you all the reasons why you can't have it. It's too much. We're not like that. We don't need that much. Oh, that's selfish. That's greedy. That person was born with a silver spoon in their mouth. I'm not like that. We instantly talk ourselves back into the self-image, whether we realize it or not. So if you spent a lot of time complaining that there's not enough money, that's what your brain focuses on. That's what you notice. And what we focus on manifests bigger in our lives. The debt gets bigger. The reasons for not doing something become solid because we're so focused on all the reasons why it can't happen instead of thinking about, what if I could? What would that be like? We've got so much proof of why it can't happen that, do you realize the problem lies in your own self-image, the concept that you have of yourself, the proof that your brain is showing you? You're seeing red trucks all over the place. There's the proof. Well, what if you decided that you would like to have or be or do something out of the ordinary? Maybe you've seen it on TV, or you know someone that has what you want. That's proof that it's possible. And when you get a picture in your mind of what it would be like for you, that's proof it's for you, because whatever you can visualize in your mind, that becomes a coming attraction of your life. You can follow a predictable program that other people have put into you, talking about who you are and what you're like, or you can change it. You can decide you really want to go after something that seems impossible. Well, the first step is to get clear on what that looks like, to visualize it. Your mind is so powerful. You could be sitting at work, either in an office, staring out the window, or looking at a picture of a dream vacation that you want. Or you can be working with machinery, or digging ditches, or painting houses, or doing any kind of hard labor, and imagining that you're sitting on a beach. It could be Hawaii, it could be northern Saskatchewan, it could be visiting the east coast of Canada, could be Australia. It doesn't matter where, but your mind can take you there. And then your mind is so powerful, you could be on that beach. You could be looking out into the water and enjoying a vacation And then you start to worry about what's happening back at work. What's happening with your customers? Who's taking care of your files? Your mind can go anywhere. What if? Well, that's your subconscious mind. Um, your your conscious mind. Let's decide that we are going to consciously focus on a little fantasy. Close your eyes for a couple of minutes and take a deep breath in, unless you're driving or working with machinery. But if you've turned off distractions and you're just sitting and listening, take another deep breath in and let that go. When your mind and body are calm, you can tap into your creative mind. Your creative mind doesn't work when you're busy working or thinking or multitasking. Give yourself permission to just let your mind wander. Take another deep breath in and relax even more. And let's take a walk along the beach. The sun is starting to come up. The sand is already warm. You're walking along, feeling the sand between your toes. Maybe you haven't done that since you were a little kid. Just squish into the sand and feel that. And walk along, just feeling free, just enjoying the warm breeze. Maybe you can hear birds chirping. Maybe you can hear the waves lapping up onto the rocks or touching your toes. It starts to feel real. What are you seeing around you? Do you see miles and miles of ocean stretching out before you, or a placid little lake? Hear the waves coming in and going out, or the little ripples. Your mind can create whatever you like. You might see fir trees or palm trees. You might hear children playing in the distance. Or what it would be like if you were all alone and just connected to source energy. Maybe you thank God for the beautiful day. Maybe you thank yourself for being on a wonderful holiday. Get into the spirit of being grateful that you can imagine you're walking along the beach. Maybe you've been there in the past, or that's something that you want to do in the future. When you take your mind there and you focus, You start to get ideas. When your mind is relaxed, you can create a different picture. You can create an image of yourself that you would love to be or do or have. This is not about positive thinking. It's about what would you love if you've ever decided that you want something so much, you're in love with it. Maybe you wanted to be a movie star or a world famous singer or a teacher or a doctor. Or maybe you are a doctor and you just wanted to be an artist. Your mind can take you into that beautiful picture of what it would be like to live the life that you truly desire. Getting into the feeling of what it's like to do that. What is a dream? A, a wish that you wanted. Maybe you thought of something when you were a child and you really decided, that's what I'm going to be when I grow up. What did that feel like when you got that picture in your mind? It's never too late to go after a dream goal, no matter what you've told yourself. As we're walking along this little beach with the sand coming up between our toes, notice there's a table and chair sitting there with a journal. I want you to pretend you're just sitting out looking at the beautiful water, but you've opened your eyes and written it, and you want to write it down because you don't want to forget this moment. You don't want to forget how good it feels to just be relaxed and thinking about what you always wanted to be when you grew up. Maybe you're doing it. Maybe you talked yourself out of it because you didn't know how. Take some time to get clear on if there was no time limit, money's not an issue. You get to decide what it is that you really want to be, who you want to be, what you want to be doing, how you want to spend your days. And instead of letting your logic, reasoning mind stop you, just write it out like it's a fantasy. I'm so happy and grateful now that. Write down whatever comes to your mind. It could be a purpose that you'd love to accomplish. Maybe it's a career that you always wanted. Maybe you're already living the life that you love. Maybe you're working in the job that you always wanted. Maybe there's something more. What does that look like? What would it mean to you? Let's take a few minutes just to express on paper what's going on in our minds. I'll give you a couple of minutes and I'll be back. Good morning again, and thank you for joining me in this morning mindfulness practice. Do you know that your imagination can take you anywhere? It can lower your golf score. It can help you create a new type of employment, a new business, a new home. It can help you focus on what's possible. Successful men and women since the beginning of time have used mental imagery to get what they want. The top athletes in the world picture themselves winning trophies, standing on the podium, celebrating their success. And then they practice over and over and over and over. And then one day, in reality, that success happens, not only because they thought about it, they felt like they were there. They celebrated the gold medal or the championship. They believed in themselves, and then they took action. They practiced over and over and over and over. If there's something that's pulling at your heartstring, something that you've written down on that piece of paper, something that you really, really, really want, practice rehearsing it in your mind, but feeling what it's like to be there. And then write down any ideas that come to you. That's your intuition, that's your higher self, that's universal intelligence giving you an idea, and you take action on that idea. I promise you it will lead you to the next step and the next and the next. And then pretty soon you'll be celebrating. You'll be that person who has the goal. Wishes do come true, but you have to act like the person that already has the goal. You have to pretend it so that it feels real in your life. And then no matter what the outside circumstances or the conditions are, keep having the faith that you are that. You're changing your self-image. You're changing the concept of what's possible for you. And you practice it, getting calm, writing it out, and then taking action based on what your higher version of you says. What does it feel like? Practice being there in your imagination. Create a wonderful day. Thank you for joining me in this morning mindfulness practice. I'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 7. And for any of my clients, I'll see you back here at 9 o'clock so we can really get into making it happen. Thank you.